Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to crack open one of those super dense corporate policies. You know, the kind that usually just sits on a shelf. But we're going to break it down and turn it into what it really is, a clear, powerful plan for smarter growth. All right, let's dive in.
So, have you ever been there? You're totally buried in work, your team is stretched thin, and then you see a brand new face in another department, and you just think, how did they get a new person but we can't? It can feel so random, right? Kind of unfair even. Well, we are about to pull back the curtain on a system that's designed to fix that exact problem.
Okay, first, let's talk about the problem. We're calling it the hiring Wild West. And I bet it's a chaotic place many of us know all too well, where big decisions are often made on the fly with very little rhyme or reason. This is a world of reactive decisions. A manager makes a desperate plea, some new project pops up out of nowhere, and poof, a new person is hired. There's no clear why, the budget always seems to be on life support, and the teams actually doing the work are just left scratching their heads. The policy we're decoding has a name for this: ad hoc hiring, and its #1 job is to put an end to it.
So, how do you tame the Wild West? Well, you don't just need a new rule book, you need a whole new blueprint. A framework that brings logic, order, and real strategy to the chaos, once and for all.
And look, this is a huge shift. We're talking about moving away from those knee-jerk, subjective decisions that just waste so much time and money. The new blueprint is all about being planned, being proactive, using actual evidence to make choices, and making sure those choices are built to last.
At its heart, this is the entire mission. It cuts through all that corporate jargon like mandate-aligned and budget-controlled and boils it down to a simple, powerful idea. Hire the right people for the right reasons at the right time. That's it. It's the filter for every single hiring decision. So how does this blueprint actually work in practice? Well, it forces every single hiring request to clear 4 non-negotiable hurdles. If a request can't pass all 4, it doesn't move forward. It's as simple as that. First up is the why test. And this isn't about what a single manager wants. It's all about what the organization actually needs. The request has to prove a direct, undeniable link to the company's big picture plan. If the role doesn't push the main goals forward, it fails the test. No exceptions. Next is the skills test. Before you can even think about looking outside the company, you have to prove the skills you need don't already exist on the inside. Hiring someone new is the absolute last resort, only after you've seriously looked at training your current team, automating the work, or shuffling existing roles. Now for a really crucial step, the workload test. This is where data completely replaces drama. A manager can't just say, "We're swamped," anymore. They have to prove it with cold, hard numbers, showing exactly how many hours of work there are versus the team's capacity to do it. And here's the beautiful, simple logic behind it. There's a standard formula. You figure out the total hours needed for a task, you divide it by the productive hours one person can realistically provide, and the math tells you whether or not you have a staffing gap. No more guesswork, no more gut feelings, just the facts. And finally, we get to the ultimate gatekeeper, the budget test. Because let's be real, a great idea with no funding is just a wish. This final step confirms that a position isn't just covered in this year's budget, but that its funding is sustainable for the long haul. This is what stops that painful cycle of hiring someone only to have to let them go in the next budget cut. Okay, so let's say a request makes it. It has cleared all 4 hurdles. It's proven its strategic value, its necessity, and its funding. What happens next to get that final green light? Well, it moves up a very clear chain of command. The department head gives the technical sign-off. The CFO confirms the money is there. The head of HR makes sure it lines up with all the workforce plans. And finally, the CEO or the board gives the ultimate strategic thumbs up. It's a system of serious checks and balances. So why go through all this trouble, right? Why build this whole system? Because the payoff isn't just a better process. It's about creating a smarter, more deliberate culture. It actually changes how the entire organization works. I mean, the benefits are huge. You get transparency, so no more mystery hires. You get way smarter spending because every single dollar is justified. You get the right people focused on the most important work. And maybe most importantly, you build real alignment and accountability. Every single decision can be tracked, it can be audited, and it can be explained. And this is the key takeaway, pulled straight from the source, to ensure transparent, auditable justification for every new or replacement position. See, this isn't about making hiring harder. It's about making it smarter, fairer, and a whole lot more defensible for everybody involved. It's a shift from impulse to evidence. And that really leaves us with one last question to chew on.
When it comes to its most important asset, its people, is your organization just reacting to chaos, or is it intentionally building with a blueprint? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us.